On the phone, we have Kwamé from Cincinnati. Kwamé from Cincinnati, you're on the air. If you're a Reds fan, own up to it and admit it.
I am 100% not a Reds fan.
Are you an Indians fan?
No, sir, neither.
Are you a Bengals fan?
No.
Well, why are you from Cincinnati then?
Military family. We currently live in Cincinnati.
Who's your favorite team?
Over. I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh God! What did you call up just to aggravate me with the Yankees? For heaven's sake! My God! All right, go ahead.
So, in regards to the statue being removed, we would see that as a victory. I know that there are people who are not a fan of the statue being removed because they feel that it is history, but it is a history of oppression and a history of enslavement. And I'm very sure that if anyone felt like they wanted to have up a sign of Hitler or German armies or any federal, anyone from his army, that would not be appropriate standing up. So we see that as a victory on my side.
I'll buy that. I mean, I don't know why. Look, I don't know why they're there in the first place. I mean, I don't even know what the purpose is. I mean, I never figure. I'm agnostic on the statues. I'm not from Virginia way, blah blah blah. But I never really figured out why they got statues of, CSA generals, or why they would have statues of Union generals. I mean, it was a war. Terrible period in our life of the country. I'm not sure why the statues were there in the first place. It is a victory, and that's fine. But let's go to New Orleans. I remember, this is like 5 years ago, there was this huge outrage over Confederate, I think it was Lee, being taken down in New Orleans, and the mayor said, I'm just taking him down. I've had enough. They took him down. I guess they put him in another location, and oh my God, it went on for days, and people protesting on both sides. Okay, has that made any impact on your life in New Orleans whatsoever? Has it changed anything? Did it get you a better school? Did it get you a worse school? Did it do anything? No. So who cares?
Well, John, as you can see, there are a lot of people who do care, and they are very upset about that. So I think that would be very telling, and we should wonder why would people be so upset that they would be removing these things.
Well,
what are you upset about?
I think the other side is, does it stop here or does it go to Washington? I mean, I would say that if you wanted to take down the Washington Monument, that's father of our country, fought the Revolutionary War, you kind of grow up with that, didn't chop the cherry tree down, didn't lie to his father, the whole thing we're taught in school. I think people are afraid that where does it go? So that's a legitimate argument. And then there's the erasing history. But statues don't signify history, right? I mean, I'll use the example again. I grew up, went to school, grammar school, high school, elementary school, college, master's degree in New Jersey. I had more education on the Civil War than 99% of the people in the South. I never saw a statue, and went south of Philadelphia. So how are you erasing history because you're taking a statue down? It's in the books. I mean, it's taught in the schools. You can take college classes on it. There's 1,000 books written on it. So I just don't buy that argument, erasing history. I just don't buy it.
I don't buy it one bit.
I mean, I just read a book over the winter during the Christmas holiday on Stonewall Jackson. I think there's a great book, by the way. It was called Rebel Yell. And it was basically a book about General Stonewall Jackson. Great book. I mean, I'm not reading it because I'm in favor of this or favor of that. I just want to read about history. I forget the author, but it was very well done. Really took you there and you understood both sides. But I don't need to go up to the statue of Stonewall Jackson to understand where he was coming from. I just read the book. What does the statue have to do with it? And if you don't want to read about him, don't. Unless it's a required class in college history and then you want to get an A in it, you got to read the book. Am I making any sense?
You make sense to me.
All right. Now, where does these protests, what has to happen to have these end?
Well, I could quote back to Martin Luther King when the president was asking him to calm down the riots because they were getting not so peaceful. and he basically said that at this point, it's over my hands. We have to understand that people are very, 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 very fed up, and we also have to understand the climate that Corona has also fostered into this. People are angry. People have been at home. People have been laid off. All sorts of elements. So I don't know if there's a direct answer because people are fed up a little bit more than they are fed up. But I do have one quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
As regards to the protests, in regards to the looting, I'm seeing a lot of people seem to be more concerned with the property that is being damaged over the people who are losing their lives. And the last time that I checked, property can be replaced, people cannot. And as a 3-time business owner myself, of course, we all have insurance. You file your insurance. If things are misplaced, you go through your insurance. As for the lives that are being lost, they cannot be replaced. So when I see that people are having more emphasis on property than people, I get very concerned about their thoughts.
Well, number one, I think you present a false choice, right?
Sure.
Secondly, 2 cops were shot last night in Brooklyn, 1 stabbed, all 3 in critical condition. All 3 may die. I don't think that's a good thing, right? 8 people so far have been killed by these looters, 3 more in critical condition. So those lives are gone. That's not a good thing, right? I mean, you would agree with that. The one gentleman, 77 years old, guarding a store, I think a pawn shop or something, shot dead in the head, back of the head. I don't think that's a good thing. He deserved to live. So I think you're presenting a false choice. But I think what the looting has done is you can't have a lawless society with thugs on the streets smashing windows and taking things. And so until that is eradicated or that is under control, it's very difficult to have a legitimate conversation about the nature of the protests and the changes that have to be made. When you stop burning down my city, then I'll have a conversation with you. While my city is burning down and I'm trying to put the fire out with a water hose because we can't get the fire truck through Richmond to save a 3-year-old that's burning in an apartment building who might die, I'm really not interested in your cause. When I can save my 3-year-old and put out my fire in my house, then maybe we can sit down and have a conversation. So I think your message has been hijacked. So I don't really think it's about, property versus people. I think somehow this message has gotten hijacked by looters and rioters and thieves and thugs and people of that nature. I bet a lot of these people that are looting, if you asked them what the protest was about, well over 70% of them would have no idea. All they know is they pull up in a truck, organized crimes behind them, they unload Macy's, and they drive away, and they fence it over the river. You understand what I'm saying? I want to see your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're burning my city down, where my place of business is, I really can't focus on it. Does that make sense, Kwamé?
No, sir. Doesn't make any sense to me. That logic to me would be backwards. If we're saying that the reason that these people, whether it be the cops or whether it be the guy protecting his store or whether you can't get the fire truck through to save, is because of police brutality, then my mindset would say, okay, we should take care of the police brutality, and then we won't have X, Y, and Z. The message that you're sending is to work backwards. I'm saying work forward. Start with the root. You have to start with the root of the issue, and then
okay. So here's the root. So all 4 of these guys were arrested. The perpetrator of the murder was put up on second-degree murder charges. The other 3 have been arrested. They'll probably get charged with murder 3 or manslaughter or something. I don't know the law. So they've been arrested. The guys in Georgia have been arrested. They're going to get the electric chair. So they've been arrested, and obviously, this guy that did this in Minneapolis that murdered the George Floyd, he had 10 charges levied against him of excessive force. They did nothing about it. I don't know if the union protected him or the police chief just didn't act on it. But all this stuff has to get looked into. So, So you've got the charges in both of these two incidents now. So I mean, there's other things. There's got to be reforms put in place. But I get where you're coming from. But when you're burning down my city, and you're destroying my home and my place of business, and I have no recourse, there's no police to call. It's very difficult to sit down at the table and have a legitimate discussion while my home is burning. That's just me, right? Stop burning my house, and then we can sit down and figure this out. So, maybe we can agree to disagree on that, kind of like Yankees Astros. We didn't cheat. We played perfect baseball. You guys are the biggest cheaters in history because there's no salary cap, and you just buy all the good players. And we're the ones that's suffering without draft picks and fines. You guys just buy everybody you want because you got billions of dollars. You're the biggest cheaters in the history of any sport ever. And my team gets screwed. We're not going to see eye to eye on that. And by the way, we played perfect. That was a perfect World Series. It was like Trump's phone call with Ukraine. Perfect baseball. Kwamé,
we would need a whole nother segment for that.
Call anything. See, I did that because I knew he was out of time, man. I've been doing this a long time, Kwamé. I threw that in there in the last 30 seconds, knowing that Kiera has to get us out. Thank you, Kiera, for giving Kwamé no Yankee rebuttal. Kwamé, call me anytime, all right? Thank you,
yes,
buddy.
Sir.